Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the ThunderCats Cats Lair Polystone environment from Icon Heroes. So it is pretty cool, even though the action figures are in question right now. It is neat that we're still getting some really cool licensed products for the ThunderCats. And Icon Heroes has been producing some really cool environmental pieces based on some of the awesome things we see in the original ThunderCats cartoon series. And we're going to start off by taking a look at the Cats Lair here, the home base of the ThunderCats. Now the Cats Lair Polystone environment comes in this really large box, the front of which has some really cool artwork depicting the castle right there on the front. It's got the new ThunderCats classic logo. It's the same one that we've seen on Bandai's action figures. And when you turn the box around, you get some images of the actual Polystone environment that's within. And the back of the box is really cool because it gives us a description of the Cats Lair, but also one of the things it does along the back is it gives us some concept looks. So it gives us an image of the Cats Lair screenshot taken right out of the original animated series. Then we have some concept sketches of the design for it, and then finally a final photo of the Polystone environment. So it is pretty cool just kind of seeing the step-by-step there, and that way you can get a cool comparison showing you the cartoon version and the final version to see how similar they really are. So, outside of the box, how does it look? Let's go ahead and take a look, shall we? There it is, the ThunderCats Cats Lair Polystone environment. This is a very cool piece. Now, first things first, Polystone statue. It is very heavy. It's got a lot of weight to it. It is most likely going to be a little fragile, so this is definitely something you want to be careful with. You don't want to drop it and break pieces off of it or anything like that. This is absolutely a collectible piece and not a toy. It's meant for display purposes on your shelf. The bottom of it does have some nice padded bumpers on each of the corners. It is a heavier piece, like I said, so it's very good that it's got these rubber grips on the bottom there to help keep it nice and firm on your shelf. You will notice that it is a limited edition. Only 600 pieces were made, so it is hand numbered on the bottom, so you know which number you have out of 600. So, let's take a look at the actual details on this thing. So, first things first, this is a very good representation of the Cats Lair as it appeared in the original cartoon series. It is a really beautiful looking piece, and honestly, I have to say, after seeing photos of it and everything like that, none of that really does it justice. Seeing it in person is really impressive. The paint job on it is really good for the most part. Now, I say for the most part because I will note that there are a few bleed spots where the blue meets the white, specifically around the base. There are some spots where the blue is kind of bleeding onto the white a little bit. There's a pretty bad spot over here where there's some blue paint bleeding on. But if you can look past that, for the most part, the paint job is really good. The head looks great. There's some nice bright reds in the eyes and the inside of the mouth. There's also some shading mixed in with the blues, so it's got some blacks kind of brushed in there to help bring out the details a little bit better, and the same shading effect is seen in the paws area of the base. So anywhere that it's blue, it's got some great black strokes in there to help bring out the details. The ThunderCats logo is painted very cleanly, so it's nice and crisp, very bright red again, just like the eyes and on the mouth. And it's really cool looking at all the details on like the doors and the stairs and everything like that, because all of that has got some gray paints, and it is all detailed very nicely. There's a lot of intricate sculpting going on in there, so it's really nice to see how the animation translated into this actual statue piece, because there is a lot of detail in here, a lot of little etchings and everything like that, a lot of lines that really make it stand out, so it's pretty detailed for what it is. The white paint is got a bit of a pearlized shine to it, so it's not just a flat white. There's definitely a really nice sheen to it, and it doesn't really come across as well in the video, but when you look at it in person, I'm telling you, it just looks really nice. There is a little bit of shading in that too, so there's some variation, especially as you get up here towards the head and everything. So it really is a beautiful looking paint job for the most part, and like I said, the sculpt on it is pretty tremendous, does a great job of capturing the look from the animated series. Now, this piece stands about 10 inches tall, so you're going to compare that with some of your Lion-O action figures just for scale purposes. The ThunderCat Classic from Bandai was 8 inches tall. There was also a 6-inch version. The vintage figure stands at about 6-7 inches tall. So standing those all around the castle, you can see obviously this thing's not going to be in scale with any of the other figures that are out there. Even the mini-mates are too big for this. This is not meant to actually be displayed with your figures. It is just an environment piece on its own, but looking at them next to the figures gives you a good idea of just how big it is. Alright guys, it's comparison time. So just for kicks, here it is standing alongside the vintage Cats Lair playset from LJN. Now that vintage playset was massive, it was very big, and while it kind of captured the look of the Cats Lair, of course it was not cartoon accurate. So that way you can get a look side by side, see the differences between the two, because the diorama statue here is cartoon accurate. So there you go, guys. There's a look at the beautiful Cats Lair environment from Icon Heroes. Overall, this is a really impressive piece. I think my only nitpicks are the sloppy paint down at the base. It bleeds a little bit onto the white, like I said, but otherwise, I'm very happy with this. It's nice and solid, feels very sturdy, it's very heavy, made of a good solid material. The paint job does look really nice with the shading and everything, and it's just a great representation of one of the coolest fortresses from one of the vintage cartoons that we used to love. So, if you're a ThunderCats fan, I really think you'd like this, and I'd highly recommend picking it up and checking it out. Until next time.